Dear friends, so in this session, in the principle of management, we discuss the contribution of management thoughts. As far as our curriculum, we have to discuss the management thoughts by F. Du Taylor, H. Fayol, Peter Drucker, and the C. K. Palhala. So in the first session, we discuss F. Du Taylor and H. Fayol. F. Du Taylor. He was the first person who insisted on introduction of scientific management. He was the first thinker who made the first systematic study of the management, and he was popularly as a father of scientific management. The introduction of the F. W. Taylor is he born in 1856 and started his career as machinist in Philadelphia, USA. And with the passage of time, he rose to be the chief engineer at the Midway Engineering Works, and later on served with the Bethlehem Works, where he experimented with his idea and made the contribution to the management theory for which he is well known. The Frederick Winslow Taylor, well known as the founder of the scientific management. He was the first to recognize and emphasis on the need for adapting a scientific approach to the task of managing enterprises or organizations. He tried to diagnose the cause of low efficiency in industries and came to the conclusion that much of the waste and inefficiency is due to the lack of the order and system in the methods of management. He found that the management was usually ignorant of the amount of work that could be done by a worker in a day, as also the best method of doing the job. As a result, it remained largely at the mercy of workers who deliberately shrink the work. So he suggested that those responsible for management should adopt the scientific approach in their work and make use of scientific method for achieving higher efficiency. As we all know that Mr. Taylor started his career as machinist and rose up to the consultant. So whatever he feel during his lifespan, he concluded that most of the industries, the workers himself decide what to do and how to do and how much work they have to perform in a day. So he can analyze the things and suggested that the management should be act as a systematic and a scientific way, and he suggests the scientific methods that consist the observation, the measurement, experimentation, and inferences. He summed up his approach. He says that the management is a science, not rule of thumb. Taylor ने कहा कि we can manage the industry on a scientific manner, not a rule of thumb. Rule of thumb का मतलब है कि the worker or the system can work on the basis of the opinion of masses. Second, he says the harmony, not discard. Cooperation, not individualism. That means we all know that in every organizations, a group of people work together, and every people is responsible for the certain events or the task, and all the tasks are interrelated. So he emphasizes on cooperations, the maximum output in place of restricted output, the development of each man to his greatest efficiency and prosperity. So he suggests all these things, and then he gives some elements or the attributes for their thoughts. That is the elements of scientific management. The scientific task and rate setting, work improvements, planning the task, vocational selection and training, standardizations, the working conditions, material, equipment, specializations, and the metal revolutions. Scientific task and rate setting. He suggests that before two tasks is to be started, we should be planned how the work is to be done. And as far as when we finalize the planning of a task, we can assign the responsibility to the different peoples as per their capability and their training or their specializations. So if for performing any task, he suggests that if the worker or a responsible person needed some training, so first he should be trained. And he also emphasizes on standardizations. Standardization का मतलब ये होता है कि किसी भी task का we have to first do the experiment कि for making a particular product or for completing a particular task. So we subdivided the task into a subsystems or the different sections. So the different peoples can perform the different portion of a particular task. And we have to standardize the time for a particular event. And then specializations. He also emphasizes on specializations. Instead of giving the responsibility to the different persons randomly, he emphasizes on specializations. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि किसी एक पर्टिकुलर मशीन पे अगर कोई वर्कर काम कर रहा है तो उसको प्रॉपरली उसी मशीन की ट्रेनिंग दी जाए और उस पर किस तरह से एफिशिएंटली काम किया जाए. सो व्हेनेवर any task or any process performed on that particular machine, then the same person can perform that particular task. That means every people working on a shop floor have some specializations. Say some are for welding, some are for turning or operating a lathe machine, some are operating the shaper machine. So these are the examples. In a shop floor, there are certain machines used for making a particular product, and for making the product, we needed certain operations. So he emphasized that the worker should be specialized for a particular machine tools. So whenever the task is to be needed for a particular product, then the same person can perform those tasks. That's why, because they are specialized, so they can do the work easily, or in other words, we can say the efficiently. So the benefits of the scientific management, the replacement of traditional rule of thumb methods by scientific technique. इसका मतलब कि पहले in the opinion of peoples they decided what they do, and the benefit of the scientific management, instead of using the rule of thumbs कि चलती हुई प्रथा के हिसाब से जो लोग काम करते थे, और इस साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट का ये बेनिफिट हुआ कि वी कैन एनालाइज एंड रिकॉग्नाइज द वर्क साइंटिफिकली, द प्रॉपर सिलेक्शन ऑफ वर्कर एंड ट्रेन टू them. So as per their capability, different workers trained to for the different operations. Incentive, wages to the worker for higher productions. He emphasized that those workers who work efficiently and effectively, they get the higher wages. That means after standardizations, we decide in a particular day how much work is to be done by the worker on a particular machine tools. If anybody or any worker work more than that, then they get the higher wages. Elimination of waste. When we give the training to the different peoples for the different machine tools in the manufacturing industries, and they are specialized for that particular machine tools, so obviously the wastage are to be minimized. Standardization of tools, materials, equipment, and working methods. So for different operations, we have to identify the best tool which can work efficiently and effectively, selection of materials, selection of equipment for particular operations, and scientifically we also design the work methods, the detailed instructions, and the constant guidance to the worker. So whenever any task is to be assigned on a particular machine or a worker, along with the task, we also given the written instructions. Okay, when a particular operation is to be performed by a particular workers, what instructions they follow, and it is the responsibility of the supervisor, or we can say the manager. He can constantly guide to those workers and also monitor the better utilization of all resources, satisfaction of the needs of customer as higher quality product at lower cost. इसका मतलब ये है कि if the manager satisfy whatever the customer needed, and if we make the environment on a soft low, then we get the product of higher quality, and because the waste is to be eliminated or reduced, so the cost of the product is also reduced. So we concluded that the tailor gives the various methods by which we can finalize all the elements. He can use the method study. In method study, the management should try to ensure that plant is laid out in the best manner and is equipped with the best tool and machineries. That means whatever the tools, machines and tools needed for a particular operations, it should be managed or laid out on a shop floor in a best manner. Motion study. It is the study of movement of an operators in performing an operations with the purpose of eliminating the useless motions. Time study. Time study means work measurements. The basic purpose of time study is to determine the proper time for performing the operations, such as the study may be conducted after the motion study, and both time and motion study help in determining the best method of doing a job. So before to commence the task, he suggested that we have to do the method study, the motion study, the time study, the fatigue study. That fatigue study means a standard task is set without providing for measure to eliminate fatigues. Then finally he says that the emphasis on the rate settings. He recommends that the differential piece-wise system, under which the worker performing the standard task with a prescribed time are paid a much higher rate per unit than inefficient workers. So he emphasized to segregate or to recognize the work done by the individual workers. So if the workers are not performing as per the standardization, then they get the lower wages. The second one is the Henry Fayol. The Henry Fayol, he was the most important exponent of the administrative theory. Where in the earlier discussions, we found that the Taylor emphasized on the scientific approach, whereas the Fayol, he stressed on the administrative system or the administrative management theory system. The Fayol was the most important exponent of this theory. The pyramidal forms, scalar principles, unity of commands, exception principles, span of control, and determination, departmentalizations are the important set forth by the Fayols. Means he emphasized on the administrative approach along with the scientific. He was born in 1841 in France, graduated as a mining engineer in 1860 from the National School of Mining, and after graduation he joined a French coal mining company as an engineer, and after couple of years he was promoted as manager, then appointed as general manager of his company in 1988. At that time, the company suffered a very heavy loss, or we can say in the bankruptcy. The Fayol succeeded in converting his company from near bankruptcy to a strong financial positions and a record of profits and dividends over a long period. That means he applied this administrative approach to this company which are nearer to the bankruptcy and reaches again into a profit making industry. So he considered as a father of modern theory of general and industrial management. He divided the management in 6 groups. These 6 functions had to perform to operate successfully. He pointed out that the last function, ability to manage, that is a managerial act, was the most important for upper level of managers. The process of management as an ongoing managerial cycles, that is planning, organizing, directing, coordination and controlling, that is a PODC. So it is said that FAIL established the pattern of management, thought and practice. Even today, the management process has the general recognitions. The principles of FAIL management is the division of work. The division of work or specialization alone can give the maximum productivity and efficiency. He says that before to start any event or activity in an organization, first we have to divide the work in a segmented manner and assign to the different peoples. So the both technical as well as the managerial activity can be performed in the best manner only through the division of labor and specializations. Then he says that the authority and the responsibility. He suggests that the right to give order is called the authority. Authority means we have to give the rights to a particular persons to perform a particular activity. The obligation to accomplish is called the responsibility. That means every person have some right to perform a particular activity as well as the responsibility to do the work effectively and efficiently. The authority and responsibility are the two sides of management coins. They exist together. He suggests that the responsibility as well as the authority both are the two sides of a coin for a management, and they exist together. They are complementary and mutually interdependent. Then he says the discipline, the objective, rules, regulations, the policies, and the procedure must be honored by each member of an organization. There must be a clear and fair agreement on the rules and objective on the policies and procedures. He says that there should be maintained the discipline in an organization at every stage. There must be a penalty or punishment for non-obedience or indiscipline. अगर कोई भी लेवल पे if anybody is indisciplined or a non-obedience, then it should be penalized. No organization can work smoothly without discipline. फेल का ये मानना था कि अगर किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में अनुशासन नहीं रहेगा तो वो इंडस्ट्री कभी ग्रो नहीं कर सकती. सो ही प्रिफर्ड ए वॉलंटरी डिसिप्लिन कि आदमी अपने आप में ही अनुशासन में रहे. देन द नेक्स्ट इज द यूनिटी ऑफ कमांड. In order to avoid any possible confusion and conflict, each member of an organization must receive order and instructions only from one superior. Unity of command means कि जब भी शॉप फ्लोर पे इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में किसी को कोई भी वर्क असाइन किया जाए तो वॉट एवर द मेथड or whatever the instructions needed to perform a particular activity, it should be given at the time to assign a responsibility to perform a particular task. He emphasizes on subordination of personal interest to general or the common interest. He also suggests the remunerations. Remuneration means fair pay with non-financial rewards can act as the best incentive or motivator for good performance. Exploitation of employee in any manner must be eliminated. उनका ये मानना था कि अगर कोई आदमी प्रॉपरली और ओबीडियंटली एंड डिसिप्लिन मैनर में इंडस्ट्री में काम करता है, इट शुड बी ए रेम्यूनरेटेड और ही गेट द प्रमोशंस accordingly. and there is no exploitation of any employee. Centralization. There must be a good balance between centralization and decentralization of authority and power. Scalar chain. The unity of command brings about a chain or hierarchy of command linking all members of the organization from top to bottom. That a scalar chain means in a stepped manner. Everybody should know how to perform and who is authorized to given the instructions and who is reported to whom. The equity. An organization consists of a group of people involved in joint effort, hence equity. Stability of tenure. A person needs time to adjust himself with the new work and demonstrate efficiency in due course. इसका मतलब अगर किसी भी वर्कर या एम्प्लॉय को कोई नई रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी जाती है तो उसको कुछ समय देना चाहिए, सो ही कैन properly understand the task, or we can say the responsibility, and how it is to be performed. Then after, we have to analyze the efficiency. So the employee and manager must have the job security. इसका मतलब यह हुआ कि जब भी कोई आदमी इंडस्ट्री में किसी पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन पे काम करता है तो ही शुड बी फील सिक्योर. दैट मीन्स बिना किसी भय के उसको ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि अगर मेरे से कोई गलती हो गई तो मुझे निकाल देंगे. सो ही सजेस्टेड दैट द स्टेबिलिटी, सिक्योरिटी ऑफ इनकम एज वेल एज द एम्प्लॉयमेंट. Spirit of cooperations is the foundation of the sound organizations. Union is strength, but unity demands cooperations, pride, loyalty, and sense of belonging are responsible for the good performance. Initiative. The management or the manager should provoke each and every employees work under his supervisions for creative thinking and capacity to take initiative, and can give us the sound managerial plannings and execution of predetermined plans.